right. All right. Shalom. We the Brothers of Great Millstone in Church in Birmingham, Alabama. And as always, want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there. And as always, you believers. So yeah, we back once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. As always, the focal point being Bible prophecy, which is pretty much the first order of business, if you will, in relation to those who have been delegated and appointed to the lot of speaking on behalf of the heavenly kingdom, which you have a lot of these self-proclaimed leaders and teachers amongst Israel who claim to resume that role. You know, they profess to be ambassadors, if you will, of Yahweh Shai, yet their presentation is captured by that spirit of superfluity. You have a lot of these groups, they teach for filthy lucre's sake. They merchandise the gospel. You'll see them on these podcasts, making various appearances, debating settings, which that in itself, it pretty much cancels them out from being the true men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And how do we know this? Because for one who truly possessed the testimony of Yahweh Shai, then they would covet prophecy. And that's pursuant to the book of, what's that, 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter? Matter of fact, let's begin right there, Baba Bashar, if you could pull that up. And shalom to the sincere listeners out there tuning in. Hey, we are in exciting times, man. Right? We're in a very heavy time in biblical prophecy. This is the time where the Heavenly Father is performing his word and hastening the kingdom of heaven, man. That's why you see all these various events taking place throughout the planet Earth. There's a heavy divide within the borders of America, Babylon the Great, as promised. I don't know if you saw it, Ak. I was looking at an article earlier where you got a lot of these Kamala bug outs. They vow not even spend the holidays with their family, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's that wound that you read about in the book of Jeremiah, the 51st chapter. This wound is so putrid to where it can't be healed. But ultimately, for those of us who have been given eyes, we understand that that serves as nothing more than an indicator that the Heavenly Father will proceed forth with the violent takedown and overthrow of America as projected. So, yeah, let's start at the first verse. Baba Kasai.
Salakia. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 1. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts, but rather that ye may prophesy.
See, but rather that ye may prophesy, man. This is the most coveted spirit one can possess. Matter of fact, we're going to come back here, but real quick, go to the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter. I believe that's Revelation 19 and 10. Baba Kushah. Because for those of us who entertain that spirit, if your interest is piqued by the prophecies, well, guess what? That means you're in the presence of Yahweh Shai, man. Because the only way one can enter into that realm is to subscribe to his testimony. Now, let's see what that testimony is. You got it up.
Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not.
Now, let's set the stage right here, right? Because we have to put this in context. What's taking place, what we read in here, is a heavy moment where you had John, who most historians coined as the Revelator, where he was banished to the island of Patmos to serve out a prison sentence. Well, on that island, he encountered a powerful angel. And how do we know that this angel was powerful? Because John was compelled to bow down and worship him. But let's see what the angel said to him. Go ahead.
I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai.
So if you're paying attention right here, if you got the testimony of Yahweh Shai, that puts you on par with angels. See? So the angel said, look, don't worship me because I am a fellow servant. I have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Real quick, I know we're jumping around. Go to the book of Daniel, the 4th chapter, in the 17th verse. Because the ministry here in this earthly realm, the face of it, the face cards, if you will, would be the prophets. But even the angels partake in this very ministry, man. See? Come on.
Khan, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones.
Right. So the watchers, that applies to the prophets as well as the angels who was entrusted with this information. Now, we have sensitive details, which even the angels desire to look into, and that's pursuant to the book of is that First Peter? Yep, First Peter, the first chapter, where it tells you how the angels even desire to look into these things. Come on.
Khan, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men.
So overall, the ministry in its very veracity promotes the removal and setting up of kings. But only the living will have a feel for this concept. And what makes you alive? Well, pursuant to the book of St. John, the 6th chapter, I want to say, right? 6 and 54, where Peter made the statement, whither shall we go? Thou have the words of eternal life. So we have been quickened via this doctrine. And for those of us who possess it, it gives you a glimpse into some of the most intimate purposes and plans and intents of the Most High, man, which sets us apart. It has elevated us. It has thrust us into the stratosphere of even angels. We are considered the watchers as well as the angels. You see? So now let's go back to Revelation 19 and 10.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai.
Well, again, you see, while truly possessing the testimony of Yahweh Shai, it elevates you. And you can read about that in the book of Jeremiah, the 1st chapter. That's why the word is referred to as a staff. So by way of this word, we have been lifted up from that dead state, from that low state, and has pretty much been placed on par even with angels. And again, that's what the angel himself is telling John. Look, don't worship me. I'm your fellow servant, man. And what makes us equals? The testimony of Yahweh Shai. Now let's see what the testimony of Yahweh Shai entails. Go ahead.
Worship the Most High. For the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy.
So that's why that spirit is heavily coveted. So let's go back.
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 1. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts, but rather that ye may prophesy.
But rather that ye may prophesy. That's the highest gift one can possess. You see that? So now, real quick, let's click on that word prophecy right there.
Okay. Strong's G 4395. It says to prophesy, to be a prophet, speak forth by divine inspirations,
Mm.
to predict.
Right, to predict. That's why we boldly, with confidence, declare the downfall, collapse, and utter destruction of America, Babylon the Great. It's not based upon our calculations.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's divine inspiration, which when you go into the word inspiration, it takes you back to the word breath. That's where you get the word respiration. See? So this is what makes us alive. Go ahead.
It says to prophesy with the idea of foretelling future events
Mm.
pertaining especially to the kingdom of the Most High.
Come on, man. You got these Israelite groups out there who's teaching a worldly friendly doctrine, man.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much dumb Israel down. They keep you in that docile spirit. They basically promote AI, being an American Israelite. Oh, like we had to pretty much rebuke this rebel, this woman who came on the coming board completely out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she made the statement, "I'm at peace more than I ever have been." What the hell you mean, man? Now we understand that this word is the comforter,
Mm-hmm.
but no, you are to be in the spirit of hastening the world to come.
Hmm.
Right? Even when you consider our exodus out of our first captivity under the ancient Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh, where it tells you how we ate with haste, as touching the Passover, with staff in hand, girded up. So that's the same spirit we're in now. Looking and hastening for the kingdom of heaven. And by default, our presentation would promote that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Rob.
Okay. It says to utter forth, declare a thing which can only be known by divine revelation.
Come on, man. That means you have to be in the light. You have to walk in the light, be endowed with the Holy Spirit, the breath. The brother shining the gospel, Salakia, shining the gospel, endurance is key. Beautiful. He got the definition for inspiration here. Ak, if you could read that, can you see his comment?
It says inspiration, immediate influence of the Most High, especially under which the holy books were written. It says inhaling, breathing in,
Come on, man.
inspiration.
That's cold, bro. Wow. Inhaling, man. Oh, what comes to mind? Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. That's in the valley of the dry bones, right? Which gives you an illustration into the current state of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're in a dead state. And what makes you dead? Because you have not this information, which would be considered the breath. Real quick, let's go from here. And we want to come back to this definition. But I want to say that's Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter. I believe it's Wisdom of Solomon 7:26, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't subscribe to the testimony of Yahweh Shai, then the Lord, he files you off. You are classified as dead, man. As it is written, he who wandereth out of the way of understanding remain in the congregation of the dead. Come on, matter of fact, you started the 24th verse.
Okay. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion.
Right, because everything else is based upon wisdom. All things was created through wisdom. So wisdom is the only thing that's alive. This is what makes us alive. Come on, Rob.
She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath.
It took wisdom to create a fool.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to give you a glimpse into the power that comes with wisdom. See? So it passes through all things. It's the overseer of all things, right? As you read in the 23rd verse. Now, what's an overseer? It's a director.
Mm-hmm.
You oversee a project, you directing it. So through wisdom, all things consist
Mm.
and exist, in which here in this present life, wisdom has been packaged and presented in the form of prophecy, man. As we read in 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter.
Mm-hmm.
But I rather ye covet wisdom, which it's like your prophecy, which when you go into that word rather covet, I believe it's a phrase, one of the words that is desire, earnestly desire.
Mm.
Come on.
Con. It says, for she is the breath of the power of the Most High.
Yeah, read that again.
For she is the breath of the power of the Most High.
See that? So this is what makes us alive. Come on.
And a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, that definition with the brother sent. Let me see. Yep, it says immediate influence of the Most High, man. The definition for inspiration.
Okay.
Yeah, so the ministry itself was instigated. It was influenced. We're under the influence of the highest powers conceivable.
Mm.
But the Lord, in a brilliant move, he presented us, he exhibited us as the poor. And what does it mean by being the poor here in this world? We don't have any power in our hand to ward off our enemies, man. Beginning at Esau, the so-called white man, with his military prowess, his technology, which he boasts in. But the Lord, power is shown in weakness. I believe that's in the book of, matter of fact, it's also in the book of 1 Corinthians, the first chapter. Come on.
Con. It says, it's like it says, for she is the breath of the power of the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into her.
Right. And this is how we can screen you, if you will. And we can tell whether you right in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah or not, man. Because you can have on the most fringed t-shirt ever, or right? But if you can't wrap your mind around the testimony of Yahweh Shah, if you can't dance to this song, then that means you are defiled, which isn't a new thing. That means you are one of those many ancient spirits going all the way back as far as the wilderness and those who vexed Moses and Aaron, man. But here in this lifetime, you are being manifest through your either lack or being able to hold fast to this understanding. That's the determining factor. And we touched on that, like I was mentioning briefly, me and the brother Barak, as touching your reaction, proving where you stand with Yahweh Shah. So if you defile, in no wise will you be able to entertain this form of teaching. Matter of fact, continue, right?
Con. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of his goodness.
Right, which proves through the Spirit, of course, that when you subscribe to these teachings, you are in the presence of Yahweh Shai, man. And there's two extremes, all right? We closing in on the time where it's going to require elite decision making, and that can only be provided by this word, because either you're going to conform to the image of the beast or the image of Yahweh Shai, man. What?
Con. And being but one, she can do all things and remaineth in herself. She maketh all things new,
Right. See, so as the prophecies go forth, what happens? Things are being turned upside right. The reason why you see this turmoil around the world, the reason why you see the very structure of America teetering towards a collapse, we're gonna get into that, is because this wisdom have went forth, and it's changing the very landscape of the planet Earth. So all things are being made new. Come on, out.
And in all ages entering into holy souls. She maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets.
Come on, man. See that? As we read in 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter. Covet prophecy. Why? Because it puts you on the level as angels. And that's why the angel told John, look, I'm your fellow servant, bro. Don't worship me. We got the testimony of Yahweh Shai here. Come on, out.
Con. It says, for the Most High love of none, but him that dwelleth with wisdom.
See that? And to be here, to be in this council, means you dwell with wisdom, man. Yahweh Bashim Shai have allowed you access into his courts. So yeah, we can go back unless you got some.
Con, I got something for you real quick, Elder. Just going back to possessing that wisdom. It produces a like you mentioned, the spirit of anticipation. You know, looking out. Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 8. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjecture of right what is to come.
Real quick, do me a favor. Click on that word conjecture. If you could pull that up.
Okay.
Now the scriptures is basically giving you the attributes of possessing such wisdom. First and foremost, you're going to know things of old. You're going to have a feel for the history. Because in order to know the mysteries, one must know the history. But ultimately, you're going to have the ability to conject or write what is to come. So let's look at this word conjecture.
Good. It says conjecture, an opinion or conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information.
That's heavy, man, because if the Lord gave it all to you, everybody will believe.
Good.
Right? And that's where faith comes in. So we pretty much confidently saying America is going to be destroyed based on incomplete information, because the Lord ain't going to put the word missile in the Bible, man. See? Oh, one of the words that in similar words, believe. See? So yeah, I just wanted to click on that word just to give you a feel for what the scripture's saying here. So yeah, you got it out.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 8. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjecture of right what is to come.
Yeah, so
she know comes like
we're gonna be right about this. You know, someone can come across as speculating or right, bringing their vantage point or their perspective. But guess what? We're going to actually be right about it. Just as Noah. Noah was conjecturing the flood because it was based upon incomplete information, man. Right? None of the contemporaries of Noah at that time could say, you know what, Noah, you right, man, because we did see rain, and I see that the clouds could form, which, you know, speaking as a man, I believe it wasn't gloomy days back then. You know? That's just me speaking, because that contributes to the conjecturing. So the day before it started to rain, they start seeing those clouds form. It contributed to the intrigue, the drama of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Oh, like even now, a cloudy day, it puts you in a sobering spirit. Come on,
Khan. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches.
Right, the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead.
And can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders, and the events of seasons and times.
So possessing this wisdom, that proves that wisdom parallels prophecy. For those who have the spirit of prophecy, who dwell in that spirit and hold fast to the testimony of Yahweh Shai, that's likened to having the highest level of wisdom conceivable. So this wisdom is obviously speaking about prophecy. Why? Because ultimately it develops the ability to foresee signs and wonders in the events of seasons and times, which this is the season of Esau. And what's one of the prominent events that will serve as a token here in his time? Let me give you a quick example. When they start rolling out those chipping stations, man.
Mm-hmm.
When that mandate come down for you to be chipped, and the stage is set for that. You see with this guy Trump, he pretty much made this guy Elon Musk.
Okay.
He gave him the cabinet of it's one of those tech positions. See? And what you think he's gonna do, seeing that he's the founder of what's the shit? Neuralink, man.
Yep.
Who engineer brain chips. See? So that's one of those events. And which the ultimate event really is going to be the return of Yahweh Shai, man. And the world know nothing about that. You might have people who might even entertain the concept of there being a third world war.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't expound on the return of Yahweh Shai, a so-called black man descending upon the planet Earth in all his glory and splendor. That can only be possessed by, that information can only be held by those of us who subscribe to his testimony.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, beautiful. Let's go back.
To the word prophecy. It says the idea of foretelling future events is pertaining especially to the kingdom of the Most High.
See, that's what the ministry is all about. Tonight's lesson is concerning things pertaining to the kingdom of heaven, man.
Okay.
Why? Because ultimately the results of everything we're about to go into will be the world to come. World War III, when we expound on that, that's speaking to things pertaining to the kingdom of the Most High. Because that event is going to serve as the bridge, if you will, to that moment. Come on.
It says to utter forth, declare a thing which can only be known by divine revelation.
Yeah, you have to have eyes to see this. That's why you're not going to see us encouraging the average just Jake coming to the fold. Because they have to have eyes to see. Otherwise, we wasting their time, they wasting our time. And Yahweh Shai gave us explicit instructions as touching that matter anyway. He said, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The lost sheep will be the elect, not the scorpions, not the vipers. Come on.
It says to break forth under sudden impulse in lofty discourse or praise of the divine counsels. It says under
the lofty discourse is what? Heavenly places. Right? Our conversation is in the heavens, which goes back to the concept of the staff, which the word is likened to. So this is what have elevated us even over kings. President Trump can't draw up a legislation to stop this, man. He can attempt to, but that's not going to somehow offset the purposes of Yahweh Shema Shai. Come on.
It says under like prompting to teach, refute, reprove.
That's why you see brothers getting on these Christians and right. You might be going into a video concerning whatever topic, and the spirit provokes you to cuss out vocab Malone for 35 seconds. Right? Because we're in the spirit of refuting these bogus claims of you infidels out there. Come on.
It says admonish.
Mhm.
So excuse me, reprove,
Yep.
admonish, comfort others.
Right. If you're not willing to be reproved or corrected, then this is not for you. You know the rallying cry that's touching the prophets. Why you got to get on your brother? Come on.
It says to act as a prophet, discharge the prophetic office.
That's it, man. So this is what emanates from the ministry, the spirit of prophecy. See that? Which again entails the kingdom of heaven, which will be forged through the act of war, and in particular World War III, which that moment will be preceded by a series of events, whether it's the famine, the projected power outages here in America, or we mentioned it briefly at the top of the lesson, the division, the heavy divide here in Babylon the Great. You're going to have a civil war. See, amongst many other things. So America's destruction will first come by way of a great stumbling. It will fall from that elevated position, that lofty position. America will no longer be known as the Lady of Kingdoms, in which we got a little information to support this. So I'm going to give it over to the brother.
Con. Let me pull this up.
Yep, cut out the water to the brother. Yep, he was given the office of Director of Government Efficiency. Elon Musk. So, you know, paying, they showed you a while back. It's like, y'all, you remember the commercials where they had the guy standing in line? They had this line, it was going efficiently. They had the cash register, the line was going efficient. But the one guy came up and he pulled out his wallet and he pulled out a $5 bill. And it was like a, you know, you have an assembly line that get backed up. Right? I was giving you a glimpse. You know, efficiency is to be a more tech, digital, less of a manual approach, which all centers around the Quran. So come on.
Con. It says why China's people no longer look up to America. It says,
yeah, that's the energy on the planet Earth. You have somewhat of a capacity that's touching your reasoning. You will know that America was lauded as the glory of kingdoms. It was a time where all the nations, they flocked over here to America. America was deemed as heaven. There was reports going back to these foreigners' native land that America was paved with gold, man. The streets. Now America is being looked at with disdain. Come on.
Con. It says my generation of Chinese looked up to the United States. When I was a university student at Northwestern China in the late 1990s, my friends and I tuned into shortwave broadcasts of Voice of America, polishing our English while soaking up on American and world news.
And you see that? And you can imagine it, right? You can get a picture. 3 or 4 more nights in a studio apartment with their ear tuned to a shortwave radio just to hear the rhetoric from America, man. Oh, that reminds me of I want to say that's Proverbs. I believe it's Proverbs 7, where it speaks about the flattering lips of the whore.
Oh, kind, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
It says we flock to packed lecture halls whenever a visiting American professor was on campus.
Right. That was an example of them praising America, man.
Mm.
Come on.
It says it was a thrilling time. China was emerging from isolationism and poverty. And as we look to the future, we studied democracy, market economics, equality, and other ideas that made America great.
See that? And that's the rhetoric that comes from the whore with her flattering lips. See? And when you lay in bed, now when you go into Proverbs, the 7th chapter, it speaks about how the whore caught them and flattered them. And she said, look, I have made my bed with, I think it's an Egyptian.
Khan, the cloths, Khan.
Right. And then and now it also say with coverings of tapestry.
Khan. Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if you hip to this, right? Tapestry, right? Is embroidered with images.
Mm.
So we put the
you
connect the dots. That's the image of the beast, man. When you go into the science behind tapestry. So you cover yourself. To cover yourself, you have to take the beast. You have to subscribe to the beast in our image. Come on,
Khan. It says we couldn't realistically adopt them all because of China's conditions, but our lives were transformed as we recalibrated our economy on a U.S. blueprint.
See, so they looked at America as the standard, the gold standard in a sense. See? Come on.
It says decades earlier, a reform mind scholar said that even the moon in the United States was rounder than in China.
Right. And like I said, they would bring back reports saying, look, man, America, streets paved with gold. And you know what? This proves that the testimony of Yahweh Shai is where it stands. Because you have people, they perceive this book to just be an ancient text. Right? Suspended in time. But guess what? This is a living document. We're going to get into that, right? You go into the prophecies. America was praised. Oh, even John. Remember John?
Mm-hmm.
The angel said, "Why are you help me out? What do you
wondered at the Marvel Khan.
Yep. Why do you marvel at the whore, man?
Mm-hmm.
See that? And that's what they're doing. You had these motherfuckers say, look, the moon is even rounder in America. Come on,
Khan. It says my schoolmates and I wanted to believe it. It says, oh man.
It didn't get it all.
Nah, Slakia. It says reckless economic policies and destructive partisanship.
Yep.
Yeah, partisanship culminating in the last year's disgraceful assault on the U.S. Capitol. Many Chinese, including me, can barely make out the shining beacon anymore.
See, because she have fallen from that elevated place, man. The whore who was once desired has now fallen into obscurity. You see, and that's pretty much all we need right here, because we had to snapshot that, because these devils at the New York Times, they knew what we was doing, man. Try to make us subscribe to it, but hey, through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shai, we were still able to get the information. You know what, Doc, real quick, if you can get the other, that was another, yep, Khan.
This is from the Atlantic. It says the decline of the American world.
Mm-hmm.
Other countries are used to loathing America, admiring America, and fearing America, sometimes all at once.
Right, and we just read that in the article concerning those Chinese people. But that was just a snapshot. This is a global thing. All of these nations looked at America like that. Go ahead.
But pitying America, that one is new.
Right, now they pitying America in a sense. And when you pity something, that don't necessarily mean you feel sorry. That's just looking down on it. Remember the old school guy, I pity the fool?
Here comes. Ooh.
That don't mean he had feelings for him. He just said, look, you ain't shit, man. See? So you had America, who was once looked at as being this glorious place. And again, you saw in the article where they really believed that the moon was even rounder in America. But upon further view, let's go to this other article. Let's show you what's really when you pull up the skirt, man. You're going to get taken back from that stench. Right? Oh, you remember we was down in Orlando?
Yeah,
He was down there with Disney World and all, you know, that's the biggest tourist attraction in America, you know, besides maybe the Statue of Liberty itself. And that shows you that America is being ruled by Esau, because when you read Job, the 30th chapter, it tells you how they are children. They were children of food. So a damn amusement park is considered one of the wonders here. Right? But
you want to get that San Francisco?
Right, yeah, that's the one. Yep. You know what? We had a few more things, but for the sake of time, you already get the point. Let's just get this one, that one in the San Francisco one. Which San Francisco is celebrated as a tech city. It will certainly be one of the platforms, if you will, for this digital currency in which the structure is already laid out. And shame on you. Matter of fact, woe unto all of you Israelite groups out there who vehemently came up against that report, beginning at the apostles, when we expounded on the fact that the Quran is indeed the seer. Come on.
It says San Francisco has been approved the use of $700 per month sleeping pods to help people afford living in the city. It says where average rent exceeds $4,000 according to ABC 7 News. Each pod is about the size of a twin bed.
Right, that's what Americans are reduced to, man. And we just read in an article where you had the nations who pretty much exalted America at one point. And you can get it misplaced in a sense, as if that was going all the way back to the great, what would they call it? The migration, where you had a lot of those foreigners to come over. Oh, they show you that in the movie Godfather, when Vito came over on that ship, you had all those foreigners. They had the American flag, and when they was closing in on the East Coast and they saw the Statue of Liberty, it was tears and shit streaming down their face. But we just read in the article where as recently as the late 90s, man, they was looking at America as that place. But when you fast forward to the here and now, you got people pretty much opting out to live in a damn pod no bigger than the size of a twin bed. Come on.
Each pod is about the size of a twin bed, standing 4 feet tall, and comes equipped with 2 fans, a mirror, and a curtain for privacy.
Right, that's the Lord, man. Pretty much.
It's like,
hey, you can't even stand up and yawn or nothing there, man. And you got a mirror just to give you a reminder of how far from grace. Come on.
It says, however, after this housing concept went viral in 2023, many residents face the risk of losing their housing as the city determined the operators lacked the proper permits. After more than a year of navigating regulatory challenges, they finally secured the necessary approval for the pods.
Right, and that gives you a glimpse into that great fall. Matter of fact, let's go there. Isaiah 47, the feature scripture, if you will. Isaiah 47 and 1.
Can
you hear me out? Yeah, I'm having technical difficulties over. You can't see me, but hey, as long as you can hear me.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
Mm-hmm.
For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Right. And that dust obviously represents confusion, which this is one of the reasons why the scriptures liken this time in history as the feet and the toes, because the dust is synonymous with the feet, the dust of your feet. So here in this time is the greatest time of confusion. That word dust goes into confusion, man. Which this is where America is headed. What's that, Luke 21? That perplexity we often touch on. And what's going to contribute to that confusion? The Lord is going to take away the mirth and the joy. You see, the sound of the timbrel.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, real quick, click on that word delicate.
Okay. Strong's H 6022. It says dainty, delicate.
Yeah, click on that Strong's.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken here. Yep.
It says to be soft, be delicate, be dainty. To be delicate, to be dainty, to be of a dainty habit, be pampered, to be happy about.
To be happy about. It's going to be no more of that, man. The mirth will be taken away. Go ahead.
Take exquisite delight. To make merry over. Make sport of.
Right. So America will no longer be looked at as a place of mirth and happiness. You're not going to make merry over this place as they did prior to descending upon America, as we read in the article, where the perspective of those Chinese has drastically changed. They no longer view America as the Lady of Kingdoms, if you will. So what's really the point here? This serves as an indicator that the destruction is coming. What do you mean by that? Let's go to Jeremiah 51, again at the 25th verse. Because again, before America is destroyed, and fall into that destruction, it's going to stumble. And that's what we're witnessing right now. Matter of fact, yep. Come on.
This is Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 25. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
which destroys all the earth.
Yep, that's dealing with America. Her policies, her rhetoric, down to the trends, it has affected the whole entire planet Earth. Come on.
And I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks,
Mm-hmm.
and will make thee a burnt mountain.
See, and that burnt mountain is what? The destruction. But before that, the Lord said he will roll thee down. And that's why you have this sharp decline here in America. Come on, let's end off in this 26th verse.
Con, and they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner,
Mm-hmm.
nor a stone for foundations.
Right. When you go into construction, the concept of building, you have to have a stone, something to build upon, a foundation. So the Lord is saying pretty much America will not be great again because the edict, the decree have come down from the heavens that this place is to be destroyed. And once it's destroyed, there's not going to be nothing to build on. Come on, Al.
But thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord.
Right. Meaning the prophecies. See? So yeah, that's pretty much it. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to our teachers, the head apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there, and as always, you believers. To the next time, shalom.
Shalom.